It was the other actors that made me feel it was worth it. I mean, I don't think I would have dared to do it without their support, and their insistence seemed to come from a place that I knew that they cared so deeply about this project. Everyone cared so much in a way that was so fun and authentic and great. And I thought there's no way that they would encourage this if they didn't actually think it was a good idea.
We thought, Angela's a hot mess, and there is nobody we know who will nail it.
There is no,
more than Olivia.
yeah, exactly. No, I really, I've never had more fun acting. Can you imagine anything better than playing with this group? We just had the best time, and I'm so happy because this is not a role anyone else would have given me. I've never had the chance to play anybody like this, and yet I ultimately feel closer to this character than anyone else I've ever played.
And you mentioned that playing. I read that there was a lot of rehearsal and workshopping. So Edward, during that time, can you tell me a little bit about what the kind of improvisation was like?
Well, I mean, those are two sort of different things. I think that there's a preparatory process that sets the playing field in which great improvisation can happen. So improvisation is really what literally happens when the cameras are rolling and all kinds of things are springing from people's mouths and physical comedy and all of it. But I think, we use rehearsal. What we did was less about like standing up and blocking out stuff. It was more sitting around and talking. It was really kind of it was a dive into what do we think this is actually about? What's not in it that we think should be in it? And in some sense, who are these four people, so that they weren't generic stand-ins for a happy couple and an unhappy couple, or an oversexed couple and an undersexed couple. What are the particularities of them? And Olivia led an extraordinary process, and by that I mean I haven't worked on a film where number one, the actors were invited essentially to almost like invent our own characters at this level. Meaning what are the details of who they are and what their stories is. In my case, even the name we changed to Hawk based on someone I know. But then to make a film in sequence, so that if we changed anything or discovered something new in a scene, we could carry through that insight into the next scene and into the next. And the result was that we ended up somewhere quite different at the end than I think we even knew we were going to when we set out. And that takes enormous creative courage from a director to venture into the unknown and feel great about that. So I think Penelope and Seth and I all at the end, I think, felt it was one of our most thrilling experiences of collaboration. And really it was down to the not just the permissiveness, but almost this kind of Olivia led us into a process of discovery that was very unusual.
And to hone in on that as well, these character relationships. You and Seth's character have these big explosive arguments that feels like you've had them many times before. Kind of what work did you put in together to make sure you had that kind of fiery chemistry?
Well, it's interesting because Seth and I had the goal of the audience rooting for these people despite their growing contempt. I don't think it's fun to watch people hate each other. And so we didn't want that to be the core of it. We wanted people to wish we could just see ourselves, to think, God, if they would just get over these blocks. They actually have so much in common, and they really are a joy to watch together. So it was really about finding the examples of warmth amidst all the bickering. I think that they've entered into this dance that they now can't get out of. But the dance itself isn't a sad one. It's just completely, it's just like run off the tracks.
It wasn't a line in the script, but now that I'm thinking about it, when we finally get to sort of the happy place where we've shared, I think you talk about improvisation, because Seth and Olivia found the joy again for a moment. I think at one point I say, you guys are really a lot of fun, and you're not, and that was, it was because we were watching them, those kinds of things came out
Well, Seth and I just genuinely have so much fun improvising together. Like we weirdly lock into the same rhythm immediately, and we kind of like harmonize in a way. Often we speak over each other, but maybe because our tones are so different, you really can kind of hear both of us. But we just kind of dance well together, and it was so fun to take that rhythm into something that would be about conflict, because in a way it allowed us to just kind of play towards the same goal but surprise each other constantly and make each other laugh so hard.
But there's a moment when the two of them get so titillated by us, they run off. Like she says, "Joe, where's that J?" And they run off into the other room for a minute. And that wasn't in the script. That was an impulse that Seth and Olivia had over the hilarity of it. It's very much the two of you, I feel like. It's the way you and Seth are. But the way, it's hard to overstate how unusual. Olivia had so set up an environment in which anything could happen and the cinema team could follow it, that when they had this very strong impulse that I think they need to run off together and kind of get back into the fun, it was like, okay, we can do that, which is very unusual on a film. It's really hard to follow your nose in film. And that was such a delight in this, because I think a feeling of what would be truly happening between them that they had, they were just like, we're just going to do it, and it's such a great moment. I think when they run off and start to titter, is the first time in the movie you see Joe and Angela, the couple, is the first time you see them kind of coming back into the playful fun and believe like, oh, that's why they were together.
We also worked really hard, even in the beginning fight where we're fighting, but I serve him a drink in the middle of fighting, which I remember we really wanted to make sure we had that in there, that it's not the kind of contempt that is sort of indifference. I think the opposite of love is really indifference. And it's like, I don't even notice your presence in the room. You're not worth fighting with. Whereas engagement and bickering is really this like attempt to reconnect. And in a way, they speak the same language. Unfortunately, it's the language of conflict, but they speak it fluently with each other.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that really does all come across, and that makes the argument so funny as well sometimes, which is the screening room had so many laughs.
Oh,
it was
good.
so much fun. We
Saying
really,
a lot
really
for an
enjoyed
English
it.
crowd, I think.
Oh yeah,
Laugh
loved
out
it.
loud.
Loved it. Well, thanks so much for chatting to me, guys. It's been great, and best of luck with it. It's
Thank you.
So fab.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys!
Hey you guys!
Hey, that's what they all say.
Hey you guys!